If you've ever experienced a loved one passing away, this is an upbeat story just for you. Hey everyone, it's Elizabeth Morosco with Kudos Magazine, and earlier I was scrolling on the internet and I ran across this article from Fox 13 in Arkansas, and it shared the story of a young lady in her 20s who had lost her father maybe 4 years ago, and she continued texting her dad's phone number. And for those of us that have walked through losing somebody that we love that's close in our life, we understand that gap after they leave of constantly being able to call them or text or go visit them. So the story really resonated, probably close to all of our hearts that have gone through this. So during the course of over 4 years, this lady continued to text her father's old cell phone number. And this included when she went through cancer and she went through different heartbreaks and struggles through life. And it was just a way I guess her trying to feel connected with him in some way. And then some time ago, she ended up sending another text, but this time it was different. She ended up getting a response. And the response was, I'm going to read it to you. Hold on one second. It reads, "My name is Brad, and I lost my daughter in a car wreck on August 2014. And your messages have kept me alive." And the response, "When you text me, I know it's a message from God," was sort of the connecting dot between the two of them, two strangers that were helping each other in some unique way without even necessarily knowing it. And creating that sense of healing can take time. But when we hear stories like this, it can just warm your heart a little to know that there is a different story that's playing out, and there are blessings that happen in whatever odd way it may come that can help provide comfort or that little bit of TLC that you need during one of those moments. I often compare grief to big waves in the ocean, and sometimes they can subside and become soft. And then, like with anything in weather, something can happen, a gust of wind comes and a small wave starts to turn back into a big wave. And I think that through time, those intense moments soften in some way, but they're still constantly there. Even like when the ocean's at rest, they're still, it's still moving. You can still feel it when it's that absence of somebody that we have loved so much. It can be difficult to, take those next steps and to walk back in faith. But hopefully through the people that we have in our lives, whether we know them or don't even know them, like these two, we hope that there becomes ways to provide healing. And we can get into all the self-help and, positive thinking and things like that, but there does come a point when it comes to grief and dealing with death and dying that you have to go through the motions. And this even includes, the duration that leads up to prior to those people passing away, especially if they were living with a long-term health crisis. And it's a journey that all of us in one way or another will face in our life, whether it's through our own experience or helping a loved one through their experience. And I think that if we take the time to look at the story also, that often we don't know what people are dealing with. Here this was for 4 years later, she was still texting her dad's phone number. One of the things with technology and the digital age that has become a setback, I think, is there's also in some people's mind this expectation for some things like healing to be instant, just like it is instant and so many other things in our life. But with most things that are fantastic, it takes time. It takes that energy of healing through time to get through it. And it's something for all of us to remember for ourselves, so we're not too hard on ourselves as you go through that healing in that time period that you need. And also for when we're observing other people that are going through it, to not be judgmental or to make assumptions about something maybe you haven't gone through. And the beautiful thing is both of these individuals that were strangers had experienced something that is not of the everyday stress that we deal with. It was above and beyond kind of daily stress. So they were able to get people or understand each other almost like in those outer perimeters of life, of these zones that most people, they don't even want to talk about because it makes them feel uncomfortable. You know, they might not have a sense of being able to talk about their own limited time that they have on this earth or their loved ones, let alone to figure out when I get there, how can I maneuver getting through it. But really in this case, I think through both of them, it was learning that they still were living each day with a breaking heart, but taking each day and celebrating the goodness. And that's another key part, is through our period of grief and overcoming difficulties like the loss of a loved one, you know, and this could be a child or a parent or a spouse or, you know, a close friend, or fill in the blank. But regardless, pain is pain. And with whatever time that it takes to heal that, hopefully we can find other people that can help us, that can understand what it's like to be at that outer perimeter of living and how precious life can be, because it does give you a different perspective. I hope that this story warmed your heart in some way, because these little moments give us hope to make it through that next day and to reduce the suffering and experience and heal, but not to stay in that place of pain. All right, in the meantime, much peace, love, and happiness, you guys. If you got something out of this message, if you could share it, we would appreciate it. You can also find us over on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Kudos Magazine, and we are at YouTube on Cup of Kudos. All right, in the meantime, I wish you much of everything good in this day. You take care, guys. Bye-bye.